Vienna, late 1930 seconds. At a lavish party, chandeliers glittered against crystal glasses, as Hedy Lamarr appeared like a Greek goddess stepping out of a painting. Every eye in the room followed her every move, and among those stares, one man approached. Friedrich Mandl, one of Europe's richest arms tycoons. He wasn't just infatuated with Hedy's beauty. He quickly bound her life with a marriage that was luxurious yet cold. In public, Hedy was the most beautiful woman in the world, draped in silk and dazzling jewels. But behind the gates of the Mandl mansion, she was a wife suffocated by control. She was forbidden to act, forbidden to socialize, and even her every step was watched. The only thing left that was truly hers, her mind. In long nights, Hedy quietly observed Mandl's meetings with military engineers, memorizing every detail. Then, alone, sketched the principles of frequency-hopping technology, the foundation for wireless communication in the future. She once believed Mandl was her refuge, but that love soon revealed its cruel truth. He never valued Hedy's intellect, only using it to burnish his own power. When she sought to protect her invention, Mandl dismissed her and claimed it under his own name. Hedy was abandoned in love and robbed of her intellectual child. On the red carpet, the world still gazed at Hedy Lamarr as a dazzling star. But in the shadows, she was a woman with a fractured heart and hidden blueprints no one knew. The heartbreaking question lingered. How could a man called love become the thief of both her freedom and her mind? To understand, we must return to the beginning, her childhood in Vienna, where a curious little girl dreamed of making the world move with her mind. Vienna, early 1920 seconds. In the modest home of an intellectual Jewish family, a girl with eyes bright as glass dismantled every object in sight. This was Hedwig Kiesler, Hedy Lamarr's birth name. While other children played with dolls, she busied herself taking apart clocks, phonographs, and studying each tiny gear. Her father, a gentleman, often took her on walks across the city, patiently explaining how streetcars worked, how radio waves carried news far away. These conversations planted the seeds of Hedy's brilliant mind. But her childhood also carried shadows. Her mother, a strict pianist, emphasized beauty and grace above all. "You will be an actress," she said, as if prophesying. From a young age, Hedy was praised for her extraordinary face, deep eyes, and elegant presence. Yet these compliments became an invisible cage. The world only saw a pretty girl, ignoring the genius growing inside. Hedy carried two opposite currents, a passion for science and invention, and the irresistible pull of cinema. She longed to be recognized for her intellect, yet was swept under the stage lights as if by destiny. From this childhood, a hidden wound formed, the feeling of being abandoned within her own intelligence. The world would celebrate her beauty, but never believe that a beautiful woman could change the future with an invention. And so she longed for a man who would truly see her mind, a longing that tragically led her into the arms of Friedrich Mandl, the beginning of a lifelong ordeal. 1933. European cinema erupted with the name Hedwig Kiesler. In the film Ecstasy, the young actress appeared with disarming boldness, her gaze both innocent and fierce. The scandalous scene made her a legend overnight. The press called her the most beautiful woman in the world, and Hollywood rolled out the red carpet. Upon arriving in America, Hedwig Kiesler became Hedy Lamarr. MGM, the most powerful studio, hailed her as its new jewel. Posters, premieres, and photo spreads sculpted her image as a goddess of desire. On the red carpet, she glided in shimmering gowns, her smile leaving audiences breathless. To the public, Hedy was not flesh and blood, but a symbol, a perfect illusion created by Hollywood. Yet behind the glittering lights was a woman in conflict. Hedy felt trapped in the role of a beauty icon. Scripts offered only glamorous seductresses, never allowing her to prove her true talent or intellect. "Any pretty girl could replace me in these roles," she once admitted. Amid champagne glasses and lavish parties, Hedy felt deeply alone. While the world admired her eyes, skin, and curves, she longed to talk about radio technology, about the sketches she drew in the dead of night. But Hollywood didn't want to hear. To them, Hedy Lamarr was just a face that sold tickets. Into this void stepped Friedrich Mandl. He was drawn not only to her beauty, but to the intellect he could exploit. Their meeting began a new chapter, where passion turned into chains, and glamour became the gilded trap of her life. When Mandl entered her life, Hedy was barely in her 20s, at the height of youth and beauty. He, wealthy and powerful, controlled an arms empire. He swept Hedy off her feet with glittering parties, extravagant gifts, and promises of lifelong protection. To a young woman craving safety and recognition, Mandl seemed like destiny. At first, their marriage dazzled the public. Newspapers printed photos of the radiant couple, Mandl's adoring gaze convincing many this was true love. But behind the shimmering facade, a darker truth surfaced. Mandl was jealous, obsessive, controlling. Hedy was forbidden to act, isolated from friends. Every movement watched. The silver screen star became a golden prisoner in a mansion of wealth. And yet, it was within Mandl's grand soirees with generals and engineers that Hedy discovered something else: knowledge. She quietly observed technical conversations, memorized details, and at night secretly sketched her frequency-hopping designs. Mandl claimed to love her intellect, but in truth, his love became ownership. When her invention took shape, he stripped her of authorship and folded it into his ambitions. For Hedy, it was a double betrayal. Imprisoned in marriage and robbed of her genius, passion had become shackles. The gifts and promises turned into masks for a suffocating cage. Deep down, Hedy knew, if she didn't escape, she would lose herself forever. Vienna, late 1930 seconds. Inside Mandl's mansion, Hedy Lamarr lived amid gold but felt imprisoned. Every evening, banquets roared with generals and military plans, while she sat silently, reduced to a decorative object. The actress who once shocked Europe now had no voice. Even her invention was no longer hers. Mandl claimed it, leaving her heart broken and her intellect stolen. One night, as the house went dark, Hedy stood before the mirror. Staring back was not the most beautiful woman in the world, but a woman stripped of everything. In that moment, she made her boldest decision: to leave Mandl, to abandon her golden prison, even at great risk. She planned in secret. One evening, dressed in a glittering gown, she hid keys and jewels in her purse, then vanished into the city lights. It wasn't just an escape, it was a turning point of destiny, abandoning a gilded cage to reclaim her freedom and mind. News of Hedy's disappearance shook Vienna. Mandl raged, but she had already fled to Paris, a path that would lead to Hollywood. Yet even in freedom, the tragedy remained. Her invention carried no credit. Her love left scars, and her life remained a paradox, worshipped for beauty, forgotten for brilliance. The haunting question: how could a genius be ignored simply for being too beautiful? And why, in love, did she pay the highest price? After her escape, Hedy gained freedom, but the cost was heavy. Her frequency-hopping invention, born in suffocating nights, never bore her name in official records. Legal rights went to male engineers and collaborators, while she was dismissed as an actress dabbling in science. During World War II, her concept was applied in military communication, paving the way for technologies like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. But when patents were filed, Hedy's name was absent. The state owned it, while the true inventor remained invisible. In Hollywood, she continued to shine on screen, yet swallowed the bitter truth. Her invention was in use, but uncredited. The press called her a beauty icon, while scientific journals ignored her. The law was never on her side. A woman, especially an actress, was never believed capable of such an invention. In society's eyes, her intellect was drowned by her eyes, her skin, her beauty. By the time Hedy realized the truth, it was already a silent verdict. Betrayed in love, robbed in intellect, condemned to live in injustice. Hollywood adored her image, but history quietly erased her greatest legacy, only to restore it decades later. Hedy Lamarr died in 2000. In solitude, she passed away quietly, far from the spotlight. Yet, ironically, only after her death did the world finally call her by her rightful name, not just a movie star, but a scientific genius. In the decades after World War II, as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS became inseparable from modern life, researchers revealed their foundation. The frequency-hopping designs once created by Hedy Lamarr The woman Hollywood only saw as a beauty was now hailed as the mother of modern wireless technology. Zero. Justice came late, but it came. In 2014, Hedy Lamarr was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Her image now graces scientific archives, celebrated as a mind ahead of her time. From the most beautiful woman in the world, Hedy became proof that beauty and intellect can coexist, and sometimes intellect shines brighter than the spotlight. Hedy Lamarr's legacy is not only her films, reminders of Hollywood's golden age, but also the signals streaming through every phone, satellite, and global network today. Every call, every song online, every GPS signal whispers her name, though not everyone knows it. In the end, Hedy Lamarr is a haunting paradox. A star betrayed by love, forgotten by society, yet leaving humanity an eternal gift. The red carpet lights have faded, but her brilliance still pulses across the world, a reminder that the greatest legacies are often born in silence, and only history's light can reveal them too late.